Hello, you're tuned into Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5. This is your main newscast. I'm Kayla King, and these are the stories we are tracking. Secret contract. Chinese company determines royalty paid to Guyana. Paul Slow and others implicated in police force's $10 million fraud. Slow also accused of sexual assault. Oil and Gas Energy Chamber to boycott GPEX 2021 says it is an anti-local content activity. Exxon cannot survive without Guyana. We need to understand that, use it as leverage, says Dr. Adams, and Agri-Ministry inks close to $1 billion in contracts. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Guyana is now a full-fledged oil-producing nation. But how much do you know about this valuable yet finite resource? On our radio program, Guyana's Oil and You, we strike at the heart of every issue with informed views and credible data. The time is now for you to arm yourself with insightful knowledge on your oil wealth.
Hello, welcome back. And now for the news in detail. Guyana earns royalty from its largest gold mine based in the price that the Chinese company Zijin Mining Group gets for the sale of its gold from the buyer selected by the company and not at the prevailing world market price. This in addition to there being a sliding scale for the payments to be made, 5% royalty when gold is sold for $1,000 and below, or 8% when sold at 1 cent above that price. According to the contract, revenues shall be calculated based on actual price realized in relation to the transaction utilized and not the basis of world market price for those minerals. A pursual of the contract also illustrates that when it comes to imports, the company also enjoys a wide range of waivers. Meanwhile, 9 persons, 6 of them retired high-ranking policemen and 3 senior officers still serving the Guyana Police Force, have been accused of conspiring to defraud the force of over $10 million. The alleged fraud was uncovered by the Special Organized Crime Unit. One of implicated individuals has been identified as the current chairman of the Police Service Commission, retired Assistant Commissioner of Police, Paul Slow. Not only is it alleged that he was one of the conspirators in the fraud, but he is also being accused of sexually assaulting a female assistant superintendent who worked with him on 3 occasions. President of the Guyana Oil and Gas Energy Chamber, Mr. Maniram Prashad, is calling for industry stakeholders to boycott the upcoming Guyana International Petroleum Business Summit and Exhibition, which is being hosted for the 3rd year from June 28th to 30th. In a release to the media, Prashad said that the organization of the event leaves local companies that are asked to participate with little to no benefit. Meanwhile, the lion's share of the profits are taken overseas by Valiant Business Media. Since its inception, VBM has been the main organizer of the event. Expounding on the need for Guyanese to boycott this event, Prashad noted that participating companies are oftentimes required to sponsor or attend GPEX at exorbitant prices, while adding that those revenues are not reinvested in the local economy. In some cases, Prashad said a pittance is given, if any at all, to the local collaborators for their hard work. Former EPA Director Dr. Vincent Adams is of the view that U.S. oil major ExxonMobil cannot survive without its operations in Guyana. Dr. Adams expressed that it angers him to see how they think that they can take us for fools. With this in mind, Dr. Adams suggests Guyana uses its strategic position in relation to ExxonMobil and uses that as leverage rather than having them take advantage of us. He gave these assertions during an online discussion on Saturday last that centered on the Guyana's emerging oil and gas sector and the concomitant ripple effects in the country, and lamented the way the U.S. oil major has been conducting laws in Guyana by passing laws with the seeming consent of Guyana government. Now let's tell you, the Ministry of Agriculture yesterday inked several contracts for the execution of works across the country and the supply of several pieces of machinery, which are intended to improve the general lives of farmers and other residents across the country. 6 agencies that fall under the ministry's umbrella signed a total of 16 contracts, which amounted to $9.1 million. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa said, with the renewed interest in the agriculture sector, the government is focused on putting the right infrastructure in place to foster development. Coming up after the break, close glaring gaps in access to COVID-19, PAHO urges. Drunk driver caught at Harbour Bridge after running police vehicle off the road, and man killed to put out wife. Stay tuned. Welcome back. PAHO Director Dr. Carissa Effitin called for closing the glaring gaps in access to COVID-19 vaccines in Latin America and the Caribbean by relying less on imports and more on expanded regional production of medical products, including vaccines. She pointed out that only 3% of people in Latin America and the Caribbean have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Dr. Etin asserted that the shortage of vaccines is a symptom of our region's overdependence on imports for essential medical supplies. Less than 4% of medical products in use during the COVID response have come from the region. At this time, we tell you a drunk driver was captured Monday night at the western end of the Demerara Harbour Bridge after he reportedly ran a police patrol vehicle off the road at Magdum, east bank of Demerara, with his blue pickup. The incident, which according to police occurred around 23:10 hours, saw the driver, a businessman, speeding away after. Police revealed that the ranks in the patrol vehicle quickly alerted their colleagues stationed at the western end of the bridge to be on the lookout for the pickup. As was suspected, the man drove across the bridge and was stopped by the waiting ranks. Those ranks verified the number plate and observed that there was also a male passenger inside. They reportedly asked the driver if he was the one who had ran a patrol vehicle off the road at Magdum. The driver responded in a negative, but the ranks questioning him noticed that he appeared to be drunk and requested that he submit himself for a breathalyzer test. The ranks then arrested the man and took him along with his vehicle to the Lagrange police station. The man remains in custody as an investigation continues. In other news, a Cuban woman was yesterday morning taken into police custody after she reportedly stabbed her husband to death while he was trying to physically remove her from their home. Police revealed that around 5 hours, 40-year-old Lopez Cardenas Yosmerit was killed at his Lot 203 Charlotte Street, Georgetown residence. The report further revealed that at the time of the incident, the man was armed with a knife and was attempting to remove the woman from his house. A fight ensued, and the woman reportedly took the knife away from her husband and stabbed him once to the lower back area. The woman, according to the police, was escorted to the Albertown police station pending charges. Australian-owned Troy Resources Inc. says while its production rate is on track to realize at the end of June 2021 an average of 2,200 ounces per month for the year, the reserves in 2 of its primary pits have been exhausted, and as such, the operations will have to be temporarily shut down until its new underground mining prospect comes online later in the year. The information was disclosed by the company on Monday. The company did note that in the interim, Troy is exploring the availability of third-party ore for toll treating or other opportunities and said there is nothing further that can be reported at this stage. The EPA last week Monday amended the Liza 1 permit for the operations in the Stabroek block led by ExxonMobil's subsidiary Esso to impose fines for flaring, but the country lacks an expertise to calculate those penalties. So said former director of the agency, Dr. Vincent Adams. Dr. Adams lamented the state of affairs that the country has tied itself into, arguing that it would be left up to ExxonMobil, the company for which the fine is put in place, to decide on the amount to be paid, should there be an infraction exceeding the allowable flaring cap beyond the permitted timeline. Adams was adamant that ExxonMobil is in fact the party that influenced the provisions of the new Liza permit in order to protect the company. According to Worldometer, the worldwide coronavirus cases are now at 165.8 million, whereas deaths are at 3.4 million, and in the case of recoveries, 144.9 million. Locally, the COVID-19 death toll increased to 349, with the Ministry of Health's announcement of 4 more casualties. The deaths are that of a 37-year-old man from Upper Demerara, Berbice, a 54-year-old man from East Berbice Quarantine, and 2 men ages 50 and 73 from Demerara, Mahaika. It was revealed, too, that there are 153 new cases, bringing the total number of cases to 15,607. A total of 13,329 have recovered to date, but there are currently 16 persons in the ICU, 106 in institutional isolation, 1,777 in home isolation, and 6 in institutional quarantine. We now head over to the page 7, which is dedicated to being blunt. The role of the media in a democratic society is to provide the nation with accurate and timely information. Therefore, any attempt to deny the media access to information can be classified as a threat to democracy. Moreover, a dangerous precedent is set when a nation's police force decides to withhold information from the media. We at this publication join our colleagues in the media to condemn any plan by the force to deny us access to information that will promote transparency and accountability. We will not sit idly by and allow democracy to be trampled upon. We simply will not. I'm Kayla King. This was your news at noon. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Coming up next is a short commentary from the publisher.